And welcome to this brief video in which I want to walk you through our new tool, My ChurchSuite. My ChurchSuite is going to be our new church directory, but it's more than that. It'll enable our church members to contact one another better as a directory, but also to manage when we are serving and to better integrate to events that are coming up in church life. And I'm going to walk through how all that works now in a brief overview. So you should have received an email that looks something like this, inviting you to sign into your My ChurchSuite account. To do that, click on the Go to My link. And for the first time you do it here, you'll need to add a password. So go ahead and do that. I've already done that in this case. And then logging in, you'll be presented with the home page, which looks something like this. Here at the top, you have a little welcome message. Beneath that, we have featured events. On the left-hand side on the menu here, we have details that My ChurchSuite currently holds about you in particular. This is Theo's account we're looking at. And on the right-hand side, communication. And we'll come back and go through all the stuff in a bit more detail now. Using the left-hand menu here, we can begin to go through what some of these things look like. So my communication is the list of emails you receive directly through your My ChurchSuite account. So for example, Theo's received some login requests, but also the February Church Matters bulletin that came out on Friday. Click on that will open the email and allow him to immediately also see any attachments that are in that email. Really, really helpful for Theo to see what's going on and when. My details is the information that we currently hold about you. I should say at this point that these details are securely stored with the highest level of security. Details that you store here are only visible to administrators, which includes the leadership team like myself, Aneal, and our wardens. And we can choose a bit later on, which we'll show you how to make some of those details more visible only to other St. Luke's Church My ChurchSuite users. But let's just walk through this. Under details, we can see update our base details here. So our titles, names, date of birth, and so on. So all these things can go in there. We can edit and add an image ourselves. Here's a beautiful picture of Theo, looking good, Theo. You can add if you've got a partner. If your partner is in if they have a My ChurchSuite account too, they will be linked to your account, and that's helpful for things like where we know where our church members live and understanding a bit better how our church is made up of households and things like that. So it's really helpful for our leadership team to understand a bit more detail about who we are as a church family. Communication here refers to the details that we have for people to contact you. So there's opportunities to add your email, mobile, landline, and an address. You can see Theo's address in his bag. But communication down here is how St. Luke's Church as a whole, as an organization rather, will communicate with you. So general emails are things you just saw there, like the our monthly Life Matters digest or invites to events. That sort of stuff is under general emails. Rota reminders is exactly that. If you serve on one of our ministry teams, then you are likely to receive an email about a week or so before you serve, letting you know that you're coming up this Sunday. So if you are on refreshments this coming Sunday, then on the Monday before, you should get an email just letting you know that that's the case and telling you who else you're serving with. So that's what my communication looks like. And we'd encourage you to have general and rota reminders available there. Now, privacy is discussing what aspects of your personal data are visible only to other St. Luke's Church My ChurchSuite users. This is not public to everyone on the internet everywhere. This is just to St. Luke's Church users. We have set your name as visible as default. If you would rather that not be the case, then do speak to me directly. But then you can choose to show if your personal address, your phone number, mobile, or email is visible. And now we'd encourage you to make as much of this public as you are comfortable to do so, but certainly your address and email allow church members to contact you more freely should they wish to get in touch about anything. But again, that is entirely up to you to choose how much of that you'd like to show. If you're a student, you can add that information here as well. So that is our My Details section. Should you have children, you can go ahead and add them into My ChurchSuite as well. And this filters into a whole new module called the Children section of ChurchSuite. This allows us to do things like effectively do registration, to keep a record of allergy information and doctor's information, all that sort of stuff that in a quick glance, our leaders on Sundays are able to see information about our children's. It also helps us to invite children to events and to manage better how we look after and mature and steward our children here at St. Luke's Church. So if you have children here, do complete that and you'll get further emails in the future about how that works and what we'd like you to do in that case. Events is our church diary. So here on the top, we've got featured events, which we populated with events that we think are important and for you to know about. Beneath that, we have an overview calendar, which we can scroll through by clicking the arrows to go ahead by months, or just jump ahead. And clicking on any of these days that has an icon will show you what's going on that particular day. If we dump into that, so under the featured events, we can see here there's Alpha. And if we want to sign up to it, we can click the Alpha link. And this should automatically populate with all our details straight away, making it really simple for you. We can also embed this event particularly into our calendar, and that way it'll show all the dates straight away in our calendar. Really, really helpful for keeping track of what's going on. If we go back to my events, if you want to come along to our Zoom prayer meeting that meets 3 times a week, you can click on that from the menu on the right and be taken straight to an event details page, allowing you to straight away click here or here to join the meeting straight away. Again, really helpful, enabling you to get into things without having too much faff. Search allows you to see what's coming up. So if you, for example, want to see a future prayer event, go ahead and search that, and that brings up a diary of things that are coming up here. My events shows any events that you've already signed up for or registered for, and invites is events that you've been invited to. So say, for example, you have been invited to a whole church lunch, or if you're serving on a team like refreshments and we want to invite you for a celebratory meal just to honor you and say thank you, that again will show in your My Invite section in a quick overview. So that is our church calendar, our diary, My Events. My Groups is our life groups, our small groups here at St. Luke's Church. On the first page, you can see the groups that you are currently part of. So Theo is part of aneal's small group. It's very small, it's just 2 of us. You can see here those contact details that person made visible. So Theo has said that he'd like his email to be visible. But if he wants his small group users to see more details, he can change that here. So rather than having his default private settings, Theo can say, actually, no, for my small group, let my phone number show as well. So in here, Theo's phone number will show in the small group, but it won't show in other sections of it. Sorry, let's do this is mobile. I think we've got it. So let's try it again. There you go. So although Theo's email is showing here, this will only show to other small group users. It will not show to the whole church. So that's a special thing. Details shows information about that particular small group. And email members allows Theo to send a message to everyone in his small group in one go with a unique email address, that's this address here, without having to have all their email addresses. So this saves you, if you have 12 people in your small group, it saves you having to send an email and adding 12 individual addresses. It also means you haven't got to know everyone's email addresses to email them, which again helps with our privacy policies and GDPR. Theo can choose that when he sends an email, it goes to, the replies go just to him, or creating a bit of a chain. Clicking here creates a new link, and these messages will go to everyone in his small group, and everyone who replies will receive the replies as well. So that's a really helpful way for your small group members to communicate with one another. Now, if Theo wanted to join a new small group, he can also see here under sign up all the groups that are currently running and open to receiving members, and clicking on those will show him more details and allow him to join if they are receiving members. So that's our My Groups, Life Group section. My Rotas shows where you are serving on different teams across the life of St. Luke's Church. On the next serving, you have an overview of all the rotas you're on and when you're serving. So we can see here Theo has a PCC meeting tomorrow, but then he also has some preaching coming up. Clicking on any one of these events in the next serving section will take you straight to that rota. So we click here on preachers. Theo can see here the whole of the next serving calendar, and he can even go for all dates and how far in the future or in the past they are, and he can see who's serving and when, any notes that relate to that particular event. Theo can also here arrange swaps. So if Theo is unable to make a preaching on the 12th, he can click here, either add his unavailability to say I'm not actually available today, so pop that in, or he can organise a swap with any other member of the team straight through My ChurchSuite. Without having to contact an overseer or anyone else, he can just do it all himself. And he can choose if he wishes that person to swap back on their dates. I would say if you're going to do a swap with someone, do contact them first. Don't just put their name in. Give them a call first and check that that's right to them. And you can do that here by clicking Teams. I'm not going to do it now because you'll see personal information, but clicking Teams will then take you to a list of all the members who serve on that team and their personal contact details. Again, Theo here can choose to make his number visible here in the Teams section of the rota, but it still won't appear in the church directory. Really helpful for managing who sees your details and when. And details here will give you an overview of that particular rota. Just like with the My Group section, email members allows Theo to send an email to everyone on that particular rota. So say, for example, he can't do a date. He can write an email here saying, let's try that. I can't serve on the 12th of March. Who wants to swap? So he can go ahead, click that, and push replies to just me or everyone, and everyone in one go can see that, and he can then go ahead and arrange a swap himself. Really helpful way of communicating with people on your team without needing to have a string of email addresses or to have their personal email. So that's how the Teams section here, the My Rotas section, works. Under rotas, that gives you a list of all the rotas. So there's PCC and Preachers Theo, and that'll take you through to those links like that. Unavailability is really helpful for those who are creating our rotas. So when someone's making a rota, it's good for them to know when you're available and when you're not. Adding unavailability just means that for that person, they can see immediately the dates that you can't do, and that'll come up as a clash in the rota. So say, for example, Theo can't do, for argument's sake, the 1st to the 5th of March. He go ahead and put that in there. And then when someone comes to make a rota, it'll show Theo as struck through an unavailable cell on the day. So that's a really helpful way of doing that. And we can go ahead and delete that too. So that's the My Rota section, and we think this will be really good for helping things go forward at St. Luke's Church. The other thing you can do with rotas as well is by clicking on the iCal or the Google link here. That downloads a link to your calendar that you can embed in your local calendar, be that a calendar app or something on your phone. And that way, rather than having to go through and add all the time you're serving individually to your own rota, it'll automatically sync through these tools. So again, making life really, really helpful and straightforward for all people who serve at church, should they wish to do that. My Giving makes giving financially to St. Luke's Church really, really easy. Here you can choose to see your previous donations and what you've done in the past, but also make donations either as a one-off gift, say you received a significant income and you'd like to do a thank offering to God, you can go ahead and do that there, or to do a regular standing order, such as regular monthly giving. We should say that at St. Luke's Church, we prefer for regular giving to be done by direct debit, set up for your account. But if you want to do it this way, then go ahead and do so. We're grateful for you having done so. Any questions, do speak to me or contact our treasurer using the treasurer@stlukesreigate.org.uk email. Next is our church directory. Now, I'm not going to click this because it will show personal information of different church members. But if you click this, it will take you through to a list of all our members, and then in columns showing which details they have chosen to make public to other St. Luke's Church My ChurchSuite users, be that their phone number, their email, their address, so on. That's all available through the church directory. And you can search people and get in touch that way. Finally is our link section. So these are things that we think are really important for you to connect with here at St. Luke's Church. So for us, immediately, our church website is right on the list, so that helps you to go straight to that without having to memorize what it is. To watch a service, that'll take you straight to our YouTube page, where you can see all our services in the past. That's all available to you quickly through that button. But also, we have here a resource section. If you're part of a ministry, it may be that ministry has attached resources that help you serve better. So Theo is part of PCC, and by clicking on the PCC here, he's taken them to a secure Google Drive folder where he can see upcoming, in this case, documents that relate to the PCC meeting he's going to tomorrow night. So if you are on PCC or children's ministries or other teams in church, it may be that we have documents to share with you, and all those can be found in one place rather than you having to keep your own details elsewhere. So that is a brief overview, a whistle-stop tour of our new My ChurchSuite tool. I hope this is encouraging to you and shows you where we're heading as Luke's Church. If you have any questions, do get in touch with me directly. We'll be building web pages out with YouTube videos for how to do different areas of this in more detail over the coming weeks and months, and we'll be rolling out new features as they become available. But if you have any questions, please do contact me, Neil, directly. Do join us also in praying that this tool, My ChurchSuite, will help us as a church family here at St. Luke's Church to grow in deeper fellowship with one another as we grow in our love for the Lord Jesus. Thank you very much.